Okay, so today we're going to be learning about beginner questions. This is a beginner English course, and we're going to talk about how to make questions in English today. I hope that you've been watching some of my other videos because this will help with my lesson today, and you'll be able to see some things you've seen before, starting with yes/no questions, which I know you have seen yes/no questions before, but today we're going to be looking at other types of questions, and we're going to be making even more questions so that you can get good information. And that's the whole reason we ask questions, right? Okay, so let's take a look at what I have on the board. So first thing that we have here is the yes/no category. So if you want answers like yes I do or no I don't, this is our category over here. And we begin yes/no questions with a verb. So we begin with are you, right? Are you a doctor? Yes I am. No I'm not. Or do you play football? Yes I do. No I don't. Or can you? Can you hold this? No, I'm sorry, I can't, or yes, sure, I'll hold that. So yes or no questions begin with that verb. So, and I think that you've seen those before if you've been watching our lessons, because those are done in module 1 and 2. We use some of those a little bit. So you've seen them before, I hope. So let's take a look here at some question words. We've got 5 question words that begin with W. Who, what, when, where, and why. So when we're asking these particular questions with who, what, when, where, why, we want a little bit more specific information, more than yes, no questions. So I really can't answer a W question here, a who, what, when, where, why. I can't answer that question with a yes, no, right? So for instance, if I were to ask about a person and I were to say, who is that? And you said, yes, that's him. It doesn't make sense. Who's that? Right? And you're telling me, yes, it's him, who? I still don't know who it is. So don't try to answer the who, what, when, where, why questions with any yes, no's. It just doesn't make much sense. Now, let's look at the rest of them here. So who for people, so who is that, or who is this, or who was that. What is for things. So we often have a question for things that includes another type of word, like what kind, or what type, or what flavor. So I might ask like, what flavor of chocolate do you like? Or what types of movies do you enjoy watching? So we're getting a little bit more specific information using what and a phrase with what. So maybe a few words together. What type of music? 4 words to start my question. Then we have when. When is for time. We also can ask what for time, right? What time is it? So because time is a thing, but here more specifically, when. When do you go to work? When do you want to go see a movie? Things like this. Where is for places. So a location. Sometimes with where, I might get a name as an answer. So if I asked you, where do you go to school, right? Where do you go to school? Someone might tell me, Abraham Lincoln Elementary School, or where do you work? Google. I work at Google. So we get a lot of names with these where questions in many cases. The last one here is why. And why we're looking for a reason. So that's why I've included because down here, because often we want to say, well, because. So why do you like chocolate? Well, because it tastes good. Why are you studying English? Because I need to pass a test. So there's often a reason here, because, okay? Now, besides these 5 W questions, we also have how. And the how questions also ask for more information. So specifically looking, in many cases, we're looking for some sort of number. We want an amount of something, a lot or a little, or 8 or 9, or we want want meters or centimeters, perhaps we want pounds or ounces. So we have to think about what kinds of measurements the people are asking about. So if I ask how much and how many, right, I am getting countable and uncountable. So we want to know an amount of something. Well, how much? Well, 5 kilograms worth. Or how many? Well, 15 apples. How far and how tall? We probably want meters or centimeters. It could possibly be yards or feet, depending if you're in the United States or not. Yes, we're strange here. How wide and how deep? So again, a measurement of distance. So we're going to look at kilometers or meters. How often and how well? These kind of describe behavior, things that people do and when, or the amount of times they do them. How often do you study English? Well, I study English every day. Well, every day means 7, right? So that's how often. We get a number there as well if we think about it. How old? How old is age? We want a number for this. How rich? More numbers. So a lot of these how questions can be related to specific numerical or number information. The last way we're going to use how is to know the way we do something, the process or the method. So if I wanted to know the way that you make pancakes, I would ask, how do you make pancakes, right? What is the method that you use? Well, and you would answer, well, first I do this, next I do that, I mix the eggs and I do this and I put it in a pan, and finally I eat it. So that's the way, right? The process. So we would want to know how. So question here for you is, how do you learn new English vocabulary? This is something that a student asked me recently, and I'm going to go ahead and link a video at the end of this lesson today. So after you're finished with this lesson today, if you want to watch another video about how to study new English vocabulary in effective ways, not in terrible ways, go ahead and click on that, and that way we can get your vocabulary exploding. All right, so the next thing that we're going to look at here is a few more examples. We're going to look specifically at how to use our auxiliary verbs and when to use our auxiliary verbs, both for questions and for answers, okay? So let's clean off this board.